It is the big question in luxury. In fact, it might even be the big debate. I've heard it for the last 18 years. It's a question that is asked continuously by luxury brands. It is asked at conferences. It is asked within the marketing and development meetings inside luxury. It's asked in the advertisements that a luxury brand will choose to run. The question is, what is luxury? And I've heard it for 18 years. I've heard it repeatedly for 18 years. And it's an interesting question, but it's a question that will never be answered. It's like saying, what is cool? You know, is Frank Sinatra cool? Is Miles Davis cool? Is Jay-Z cool? Well, it depends on who you ask. And it depends at what time. It depends from what perspective. It depends what the criteria is. It depends from what angle you're looking at the question. So the question, what is luxury, has been asked by the luxury industry, because luxury has been in this state of transformation. And it is frankly something that legacy brands have had a hard time with, because the idea of what luxury is has shifted. It isn't necessarily Italian, it isn't necessarily French, it isn't even necessarily British. It's a new definition that has evolved over time. And there is some disappointment that there are products, services, and brands who are co-opting, by some standards, the word luxury and diffusing, almost defacing, what luxury means. Well, the reality is that horse is out of the barn. There are going to be entrepreneurs who define their product or service as luxury. And so the issue isn't so much what is luxury, but it's who am I providing luxury for? What is the sensibility that I have to address? Because that is shifting dramatically. For example, if you take, for example, we just look at automobiles. You take something like a Tesla, for example, this technological innovation. Obviously, many people look at that as luxury. No question about it. It's seen as a luxury. And many people will pay a lot of money for that automobile because it's an innovation. It's advanced. It's wizardry. It's something that people want to experience and enjoy. But let's say we take, for example, a classic automobile. You could buy a classic Rolls-Royce, a classic Bentley, a classic Jaguar, and that automobile, classic, might cost a fraction of what that Tesla costs, or it might cost the same thing. But the symbolism around that car will be much more significant. In fact, you could show up in a Rolls-Royce of any age, at any location, and the perception will be that this is luxury, even though it may no longer be as valuable as that Tesla. And then you can take a scenario where you show up with a driver, and having a driver, that's luxury. But there we're talking about convenience, we're talking about the experience, we're talking about service. So as you can see, you can take automobiles, and you can do this with any category, and you can slice luxury up many different ways. Is it the technology? Is it the symbolism? Is it the convenience? I mean, frankly, it's all three. That's the reality here. It's all three. And whether or not what you're presenting as luxury is relevant to your client depends on the client. Now, you have to execute each one of those elements really well. But whether it's luxury or not depends on the person you're talking to and the perspective that they're coming from. You know, it was once just craft. It was once just scarcity. And one of the things that luxury did really well in the past is it had this aura of elitism, and the elitism that that luxury suggested. It suggested wealth, it suggested refinement, it suggested intellectualism. And those elements, when attached to a product, really gave it a different kind of feeling relative to the, I guess, more pedestrian products, the more ordinary products that existed. Well, today, it isn't necessarily elitism, even though that is a kind of luxury, and that still exists, that is still desired, that still brings a certain kind of interest. But for some, that's a caricature, and for some, that is pretentious. Today, it's about quality, it's about distinction, it's about feeling, because anyone can experience luxury today. They can be in an environment that is ordinary, and then in a moment they can be in an environment that is luxurious. And most people today have access to that. They can pay for that. If they have a credit card, if they have a few dollars or whatever the currency is, they can have access to luxury. I was at a gathering last night for a film festival, and it was fascinating to me to watch a preview of some of the shorts that will run in the film festival. It was the Queen's World Film Festival. And at this gathering, there was a presentation of some of the shorts. And as I was watching these films, I thought, look at how in succession, the audience is moving from one emotion to the next. You know, this film has an urban, gritty feel. This film has this expansiveness of nature. This other film has this wholesomeness, this family feel. This other film has a sense of love and connection. And what films do really well is they transform your feeling, and they put you in a different place. Well, that's what luxury has to do today. It's about giving your client this transformation of feeling. And the question is, how are you doing that? So irrespective of the intellectual argument, the brand argument, the marketing argument, how are you creating that feeling? What is the presentation that you're giving to the client? What is the information that you're giving to the client? What is the explanation? What is the attention? What is the service? All of these elements combine to create the right feeling. And of course, you have to have an exceptional product. It has to begin with an exceptional product. You have to have a product that it goes beyond the norm. Now, it's nice if that product has some scarcity to it, but you can also create scarcity. You can imply scarcity. But the question is, have you married your product to the proper experience, and have you given that feeling to the client that makes them feel, ooh, this is special. This not only tastes good, but this feels good. This not only looks good, but this feels good. Many brands fall by believing it's just the thing, and they don't have the other pieces around it to create the feeling, to complete the circle. So today, as you proceed with your work, I want you to think about what is luxury, but not from this intellectual argument, this branding argument. I want you to think of it from a standpoint of the feeling you convey to the people that are interested in your product, buying your product, have bought your product, inquire about your product. You have control over that feeling in the words you use, in the description, in the demeanor, in the communication, in the service, the support, the follow-up. And if you have a great product that fits in the luxury sector properly, and you add these elements, you'll have something that is really my commitment when I work with clients. It's to create an inspired client. It's to show my clients how to create an inspired client, attract them, create them, maintain a relationship with them, grow a relationship with them. You want that person inspired by your definition of luxury. If you like this tip, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you like it. Share it with someone in your network. And make sure you subscribe to my channel. I have a lot more coming, and I'll see you next time.